Alrighty, good afternoon, YouTube. This is Hajim Zero here, back with another quick movie review. This one's going to be a lot better than the last one. This is X-Men Days of Future Past, the road cut. I'll admit I did kind of rush through that one, because I think I shot like multiple videos that day, and I was just going through the ringer. But I like this version better than the original one because they shot a lot of footage, and I couldn't really remember if how can I say this, if they intentionally did it and then the studio came back later and says take those scenes out, and then of course a quick cash grab, we can release a separate cut of the film. But pretty much like every other special edition or added edition, there are some scenes that were altered, as well as of course the future segments. Certain things were changed. So first to start off though, because I didn't talk about it in the last one, now it's my chance. But in the Marvel universe, this story originally held a lot of weight because the original, the mutants themselves weren't just killed, but it was every superhero being, like Captain America, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, like everything was really, really messed up. And also, I think it was just the United States that were affected. The rest of the world really didn't care. Pretty much the United States was its own internment camp for mutants. And even Russia in the story had threatened to say, if you bring that stuff over here, we're going to nuke, America. So it was kind of interesting. Hopefully we'll get to see what the MCU might do. It'll be a lot of due time before, this story even comes up. And plus they already had their little multiverse time travel escapade with Avengers Endgame. But, pretty much in addition, Anna Paquin, that plays Rouge, she's in the future segments. They even said in the original cut of this film, when the Sentinels do the final attack, you can actually see her reflection in the mirror or something. Like in the original cut, she was supposed to be there. But this movie had a lot of alternate things. At one point, looking at their storyboards, Magneto had originally died. Well, the future Magneto had died, got stabbed by the Sentinels multiple times. I think Avalanche, Psylocke, and another mutant were in the future battle. But of course, Psylocke is in Apocalypse, and I don't know why they had dropped Avalanche, but those mutants were pretty much were replaced with, Warpath, Bishop, and who's the other one I'm thinking of? Blink. I think that's her name, the one that has the teleport. But in addition, like I said, I really do like this one because I love when movies have a lot more content. I hate when they cut stuff out. 9 times out of 10, I can understand why it is cut out because, for pacing reasons, or it just didn't need to be there, or it gave an extra explanation or something. Of course, when we get to The Outsiders, that has this whole alternate take. But the funny thing about this one, a lot of fans, and myself included, would even say that even this movie, of course, is in an alternate timeline because even Charles Xavier said, infinite worlds of different possibilities. So, regardless, the outcome pretty much, it was a happy ending at the end. That future never existed. And, the stuff that happened in the past, it was really the same. Excuse me. Really with the past, the scenes I think that were like added on was when Magneto lifts up the stadium. They added an extra shot, of, the stadium being lifted, from the Powers point of view, as you can call it. The scene where Beast asks Wolverine, does he make it? They changed that. I think they put that scene in the mansion. The original cut, it was in the final confrontation with Magneto, and it was just a lot of things you got to see. Like I think at one point Mystique was being tracked by Charles, because she was gonna go kill Trask, and she destroyed Cerebro. So she couldn't be tracked. All that didn't happen in the original cut either. So like I said, it was very interesting, but pretty much I think the reason why the studio originally cut it out was because it was just another, it was like X-Men The Last Stand a little bit, and also Mortal Kombat when we talk about that, but it just had too many characters in the movie, you know, where they had established new characters and old ones, and even the original ones, you know. So I mean, the new prequel cast in the era. Excuse me, I really hate yawning, as I clarified before while in the middle of talking. But there's also an additional end credit scene, like it shows Peter Dinklage character in the same prison that Magneto was. I'm kind of curious to know what happened to him in the original, in the revised timeline, you know, because he's still alive. He didn't die. But I stated again, he played a very, you know, decent villain. You know, he wasn't that one-dimensional. You know, he did bring up a good point, you know, especially at the time of Vietnam. You know, he used a little bit of that tool of propaganda where he said, you know, when you send our troops halfway across the world, they didn't have the resources to fight. And I really liked how, you know, they had written that in there. And also to randomly say, Chris Claremont, the one that wrote the original story, he's in the movie as well. He was in that scene I just described. He was one of the Secret Service congressmen, I believe, that, you know, denied, you know, him, you know, green light to use his Sentinel program. But I don't know if I talked about the Sentinels the last time, but I like what they changed in here versus the lore, especially with the way they were designed. Even when I saw the movie, I had geeked up a little bit because when I first saw the Sentinels from the past, how they had that 1970s vacuum, you know, look. I really had got excited, especially, you know, seeing how the Harrier jet fans had worked and even the armor pad pieces had worked on them. And then the ones in the future, they look menacing and scary, you know. So they in the story, you know, Mystique, you know, the DNA was adapted off of Mystique. And even if you look at the concept art, they even said behind the scenes, they even walk and look, you know, had that body type like Mystique. And that's what really made them dangerous. It's kind of funny because they said in that, you know, timeline of the future, those Sentinels had actually killed Apocalypse. I read an article about it, and I was like, I find that very hard to believe. It's understandable if they can adapt, you know, to Apocalypse's abilities, but you know, it's just the fact that he can like sink things into the ground. You know, they must have killed him when he was still asleep, you know. But like I said, it's very hard to believe, you know. I saw an article on it, and I really couldn't believe it, even though he was a little bit depowered, you know, in this universe's canon version versus, you know, the actual comic book lore. But yeah, that was still very hard to believe. Like, you know, it's just like saying, this would be controversial. Goku being bested by Superman out of all the abilities that Goku has. So, and I'm still standing by that one. Goku will beat the living shit out of Superman. I mean, and if not him, another Saiyan who's just as ruthless, you know. So, but again, everyone did a very good job. I liked how, you know, the characters were written. To me, I still say that, you know, Kevin Bacon was one of the best, you know, next to, of course, Ian McKellen, but, you know, Kevin Bacon as being a villain in this universe as Sebastian Shaw was really good. He was threatening, menacing and persuasive. He didn't have to get that physical. It was more about, you know, his movements and how he talked and how he was convincing. And a little bit with Apocalypse and Dinklage, it's just that they had a, you know, character/actors, they had a different approach about it. But yeah, that's all I pretty much have to say. That's on the top of my mind. You know, of course, we can talk about it in the comment box, which I really do prefer because, like I said, I like this one over the last video. You know, kind of rushed it, but yeah, that's all I pretty much have to say. Talk to you guys later. Peace.